Ratifying the new police bargaining unit contract, which will start January 1st of this year for 5 years. The motion to that effect?
Second.
Is there a second?
I have some problems.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Go ahead.
I have some problems with this. If my math is correct, this is an increase in the 5th year of about 125%, or 25% increase, I'm sorry. That's number one. Number two,
25% out of the police budget?
out of wherever.
Well, I'm saying, you're saying it's 25%. If it goes into effect, you're saying it's a 25% increase in the police budget?
Yeah, over 5 years. And I think what bothers me about this, I've tortured over this, I've actually lost sleep over it. But the thing that concerns me the most about this is that nobody else is getting this kind of money. I'm going to start with Medicare because I'm familiar with that. We had a 1% increase this year in what we receive. But in addition to that, our deductible has increased and our coverage has decreased. Now, alongside the enormous increase, 4.5% every year for 5 years. First of all, I think 5 years is too long to enter into any contract because of the economy. But beyond that is the hospitalization. According to my figures, the police pay $50 a month for their share of the hospitalization. We, the taxpayers, pay, I see you're shaking your head, is that not correct? $600 a year divided by 12, I think that's 600 a month, maybe 7,200, whatever. It's very, very little. According to my calculations, we, the taxpayers, are paying $17,000 a month. I'm sorry, excuse me, $1,700 a month. Last night was one of my sleepless nights as I tortured over this. But this is just too much, and there's no increase over the 5-year period in the hospitalization that we paid by the police. But certainly our rates are going up very, very high.
Actually, they're not, Elizabeth.
Can I make
just let me finish, please.
Can I just comment real quick specifically about hospitalization?
Let me finish, please. Yeah. In addition, there are a number of other things within the contract that I think that are unfair to our taxpayers. I'm trying to remember now just what they were. I was interrupted, so I didn't make a note of it. I don't understand what the differential in pay is between the different ranks, but that's increasing from 6 to 10%, as I understand. I was not part of the negotiations, and I would ask you, Cindy, when I'm talking, please don't interrupt until I'm done, because I've forgotten now the most important things in the contract. If you just give me a minute.
While you're looking, can I comment?
Please, give me a minute. There's a general plan which seems on the face of it, it's called Concordia High Option Dental and has to remain in effect. And I understand that to be only that company. And it looks like it's the highest plan there is. The vision has to be with Fashion Advantage Gold Option 5 and has to remain in effect for the entire contract. And I think this is just putting too much of a burden on our taxpayers, not knowing what's going to happen. There was a $600 annual contribution per member, and that's up to about $17,000 or $18,000 a year that we're now paying. It's just too much for us to suffer, plus what comes to be a 25% increase by the 5th year. It's not that we don't respect what our police are doing, but we simply cannot do this. Our roads, as I've said repeatedly, are a disgrace. The first thing that you see when you come into the township are the roads. And until the roads are done, we can't even consider things like this. We can't consider a 4.5% increase. I've contacted perhaps 10 people and asked them what their increases were. 3 of them told me they had no increase for the past 3 years. One person said they had 1% increase, one said 2%, and another said 3%. That's basically what we're talking about. Many people had no increases whatsoever. So I think that looking at those with no increase to 4.5% is just too much of a burden for our residents to face. I understand that it was my fault this happened because I made the mistake of telling our residents at a public meeting what our CDs were. I think that that's information that every taxpayer should have and should be something that they have a right to know. But I also know that our taxpayers know the horrors of our roads and how badly they all need to be replaced and repaired. We have many plans now that are coming on that are starting to wear, and it's going to take a lot of money to do. And we have a lot of roads right now that are terrible. And those are my comments. I think that we need to sit down and negotiate this with some sense.
Elizabeth?
A few comments? Or are you
It was needed to.
I feel like a few things very quickly. Very quickly. I'd like to point out a few things. First of all, the insurance. The police came to us with a new plan that actually saves the township money. It saves the township approximately $45,000 over a period of a year, every year for a period of years. It was a reduction of the township. They also offered on the negotiating table to switch from an HSA to an HRA, which, for those of you that are familiar, an HSA would carry over from year to year. An HRA at the end of the year, any unused funds will come back to the township. So if there's anything left over, I know there's been accusations in the past that this has become a savings account. That's something that the police offered to us. Mrs. Cowden had made reference that she was not part of a negotiation. That was by her choice. We all received emails about when negotiations were happening. There were no less than 7 meetings between the supervisors and the police. So this was not something that we just sat down and said, hey, tell us what you want, and we'll give you whatever you want. And I know that's the way it's being portrayed, but that's not true at all.
I got notice of 3.
You know, Mrs. Cowden continually makes comments about the roads. I agree that there are roads that need repair, but she's also made comments repeatedly about the millions of dollars in our bank. In the day and age that we live in, there's nothing more important to me than the safety of the residents. While that means roads, that also means police safety. So if you have an emergency, whether it be an accident, a 911 call, a school, the need for a school officer, these are of the utmost importance to me. We also quickly, and I won't get into it, consider the salaries of no less than 12 other municipalities. Again, this increase was not something that we just pulled out of thin air. It was very much thought about, it was very much calculated. 25% over 5 years is well-deserved. It doesn't even come close to a lot of the municipalities in the area. Our goal was to simply make our police competitive so that we don't become a training ground for a lot of the areas. We don't want police officers to come here, us to invest in training for them for 3 years and then to move on to other municipalities. We want them to come, work hard, and stay. I agree, again, that roads are important, but I also agree that the safety of our residents are extremely important. And I hope you understand that while certain members of this board did not attend every negotiation, certain other members of this board did not come to this decision lightly. And that's all I say.
Do you have a list of the 12 municipalities?
I do.
And how do they compare to Cecil Township?
Would you like me to pass it out to you?
Yeah.
I will make a copy and you can have it. If you would have attended any of the negotiations.
All right, that's not either. We do have a motion on the floor in a second.
There's somebody.
Sorry, we have a motion pending right now. Motion and second, those in favor signify.
And it's actually,
The public doesn't speak during the middle of a vote. The motion and a second, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Carol, please record it as Mrs. Collins, nay votes.
Hey, Tommy, can I ask a question, or are we going to do this? Now or later?
We have general comments coming up shortly.
All right.
We also have item number 195.